The Honourable Mark Banasiak.
Thank you, Mr President. My question without notice is to the Minister for Agriculture. Minister, given the government has not conducted a thorough stock assessment of the eastern blue groper justifying the necessity for a ban, have you considered this decision might be subject to Ultra Vires?
The Honourable Tara Moriarty.
Thank you, Mr President, and I thank the member for the question. I'm delighted to talk about the decision that the government made in relation to groper in New South Wales. Our fish stocks, whatever the numbers are for each species, are owned by everybody in the community, not just by a small group in the state of New South Wales, Mr President, and we've got a responsibility as the government to consider the interests from every perspective, including fishing interests, but also broader community concerns in relation to incidents that occurred over the course of the summer in relation to the spearing of groper in a couple of parts of New South Wales. As people would be aware, I recently announced a period of 12 months, a trial period of 12 months, which will include wide consultation on a ban on catching groper anywhere in New South Wales. Well, again, we consult with people across the state.
A point of order has been taken. The Honourable Mark Banasiak.
It just goes to direct relevance. I appreciate the Minister's making some preliminary remarks, but the question is directly asking whether, as part of this decision, she considered that the ban may be subject to a legal concept known as Ultra Vires. I would just ask that she addresses the direct relevance of that part of the question.
I don't uphold the point of order. When you consider that term means beyond the reach of the law, i.e. that you've overreached, I think that the Ministry is absolutely being directly relevant by justifying or by making the case as to why the ban should have been put in the first place. The Minister has the call.
Thank you, Mr President. I'll continue where I left off. This is an issue of concern for the entire community, for people who fish and for people who are interested in protecting our marine environment. And this particular species of fish is one that behaves in a particular way that results in people having particular connections in some parts of New South Wales. I factored that in as well. I considered advice on a whole range of issues when making this decision, just as people would expect. And we're going to have a consultation period of 12 months to engage with people from every perspective about the decision that was made. It's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. There were certainly calls over the summer for us to shut down entire areas to fishing, to ban it in certain areas of the state. I didn't do that. This is a perfectly reasonable approach to have taken on behalf of all interests in New South Wales that care about this issue, and I've considered all of those perspectives, and I'll continue to consider all of those perspectives as I consult for the 12-month period that we've outlined will occur, and that in fact has already begun. What I won't do, Mr President, is continue to entertain threats and vile abuse that has likely been generated by the member who asked the question on
The point of order has been taken. The Honourable Mark Banasiak.
I would ask that she withdraw that assertion that I've somehow encouraged the vile threats. I haven't seen any evidence of vile threats on her page. If I've seen them on my page, I've promptly had them deleted. But I can say that I haven't seen anything, and to assert that it's come from me simply because I'm reporting what's happened in the House or in estimates is appalling. I would ask that she withdraw that assertion.
Thank you. I uphold the point of order and ask that the Minister do withdraw that assertion and continue in her answer.
Mr President, in the interests of the House, I'll withdraw it, but I won't shy away from calling out abuse from a small section of any part of a debate in New South Wales in relation to decisions that are made by anybody. People are entitled to express views. That's part of the democratic process. I welcome it. The views that have been expressed, not just to me, but to Fisheries Department officials and others, will not be tolerated. People should participate in a reasonable, rational way.
A supplementary question. The Honourable Mark Banasiak.
Thank you. In the Minister's answer, she spoke about how she considered all advice. Within the estimates hearing, your acting director said that the advice that you requested from his department was solely on the banning of line fishing of blue groper. Can you elucidate how you reconcile the evidence given by your acting director with your statement that you just gave, where you said you considered all advice when you only asked for the advice on banning?
The Minister has the call.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I thank the member for the supplementary question. What I in fact said was that I considered a range of advice, which is what I did. I considered advice from the department, which is an appropriate thing to do, and I considered community concerns, which is also an appropriate thing to do. I considered a range of advice because it is my job to do that, and it's an appropriate thing to do, Mr. President. Again, I have, when the announcement was made, it was, and I know there's concern from people across the sector that this is somehow some sort of precedent. It's not. The very particular set of circumstances. And as part of the announcement that was made, the very same day that the announcement was made, I was very clear to say that we'll have a 12-month period of consultation. That's exactly what I'm going to do. That is exactly what I've already begun. The department is consulting with various groups around the community. I want to hear, and have already heard from a number of fishing groups around the community who don't support some of the commentary that has been made in relation to this decision, who do support fishing being debated and considered in a proper, reasonable way. And I'll continue to engage with all sectors of the fishing community who want to engage in those terms for the next 12 months, Mr. President.